Well, welcome to the C List. I'm Aaron,
And I'm Josh.
and today we're going to be looking at Thunder of Gigantic Serpent, directed by Charles Lee, aka Godfrey Ho.
Basically, it's really hard to describe how Godfrey Ho makes films. Um, what he does is he starts off with a regular, unfinished film, usually quite cheap or something. He then films extra bits to pad out the film and make it longer. And he tries to do it in such a way that the new bits that he puts in add to the storyline. Is that would you say that's an accurate way to put it?
I'd sort of say so. I'd say the main reason he does it is because they don't quite have enough money to film a whole film, so they just use the footage from an unused one.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, as his sort of style goes, this one makes more sense than many of his ninja films. He's done upwards of 50 ninja films, sort of, during the 80s, 90s, a couple in the sort of 2000, but...
That's not to say that this film makes 100% sense, though. There's still a certain amount
this is one of the weirdest films I've ever seen. Do you want to try and explain the plot?
Do you want me to do plot A with Mosley, and you can do plot B with Pierre Kirby?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay, plot A, which is the film which they started off with, it's basically the scientists create a formula which makes things really big, and some terrorists want it, so they attack, and the scientists end up running away and chucking it out of their car window, which is, I suppose...
The woman jumps out as well, of course.
Oh, yeah, it's Dr. Lin, her name is, yeah, she jumps out with it. So yeah, and then they end up losing the box, because they chucked it out of the car, and it ends up in the hands of a little girl, who takes it home, and decides that it would be a great place to house her little pet snake, who is already a super intelligent snake, because it answers questions by nodding, and makes a retarded... Actually, no, it doesn't speak. It doesn't speak at this point.
Oh, it does. It goes...
Isn't it later on that it makes a retarded chicken noises?
I think it goes when she puts it in the bucket.
Oh, okay, because it does answer questions as well as like nodding and shit like that. You know, it's a really intelligent snake already. So she decides to put her snake in this horrifically unattractive box, and it basically makes it grow into a giant snake.
Can I just pause on that fact? You notice when the snake grows, it looks like it's being electrocuted.
Yeah.
That would mean she's had to have plugged it in.
What, plugged in the box?
How was the electricity thing happening? How was it growing bigger?
That's a good point.
Because she turned the lights on the inside, which I take it made it grow. How did she turn the lights on if she didn't plug it in? Unless it's got a rechargeable power source, which I don't think it does.
Maybe it runs on batteries. What year was it made?
I doubt it, but...
80 something?
Yeah, 86 I think.
But yeah, basically, her snake goes giant, and they do a little bit of, you know, and there's a few nice montages of them playing and having a good time. It scares like some bullies off. No, doesn't it?
It helps her win the semi-skiing.
Yeah, we're gonna bring up the
rollerblade
tractor
race.
skis later on because
Yeah.
they're worth mentioning. And then basically she gets kidnapped by the terrorists who want
Which I'll
the
go into
formula,
in a bit.
which at this point doesn't really exist anymore. And then to try and kill the snake, they decide that electrocuting it is the best way, because gunshots and explosions, you know. So yeah, they electrocute.
Well, they do try and blow it up first.
Do they? Oh yeah, true. They do try to blow it up first.
They put dynamite underneath it.
Yeah, and then they try to electrocute it, because that makes perfect
After
sense.
shooting it as well.
Oh, okay. So it is a reasonable attempt. Basically, they electrocute it and it becomes giant. They then kidnap the girl, and then the giant snake gets angry, and it destroys a train, a bridge, a dam, floods most of a city.
Destroys a building.
Oh, it destroys a building, and then it attacks the city to try and get the little girl, At which point the Japanese army?
I think so.
The Japanese army then kamikaze it to death. And the entire world is very happy that the giant snake is dead, and the little girl is crying her eyes out.
They actually do fly a plane into its face.
It's hard to explain, but
there should be a clip going along with this, hopefully. Do you want me to explain try to explain the other plot, which is actually quite simple.
Kirby and Solomon. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, essentially Solomon is the leader of the bad sort of guys that want the growy bigger substance formula, and the military realise this, so they call in a gentleman who is called Ted Fast, played by Pierre Kirby. What a great name. But yeah, he goes on a search for Solomon, so every once in a while in the film it'll just cut to Kirby being shot at by some people, he'll do some martial arts, and then he'll continue searching. And it all culminates with him sort of fighting Solomon in one of the most amusing fights I've seen. But Kirby has some great lines, such as, I believe they informed you of my coming. I don't know why, but that I just think's pretty damn amusing.
Oh, did you mention what Solomon's plans for the formula actually are?
Oh yeah, so he can take the food and hold the world to ransom, and he'll be a god,
he wants
essentially.
to take over the global food market.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the soundtrack in the film is absolutely hilarious. I really liked it because it was like an 8-bit game soundtrack.
It's not quite as good as Necromantic, but it was still up there with some great songs.
Yeah, here's a little sample of the bit from the main title sequence. But yeah, I love this film so much. But yeah, I've got so much to say about it, and I take it you probably do too, but we can't really fit it into a 10-minute review. Probably gonna have to continue this at some later date, but I want to just say that I really enjoyed it, and if you can track it down, watch it, it's absolutely brilliant. It's hard to find.
You know what the weirdest thing is? We're not like the first people to review it, but like all the other reviews I've seen, they have the same copy with the Greek subtitles.
Yeah.
Is there a copy without the Greek subtitles?
I don't think that it's a Greek VHS. But.
Oh really?
But yeah, it's.
Poor Greeks.
But no, it's great if you can track it down, watch it, and it's absolutely brilliant. I want to also note that the ending is like every Godfrey Ho film, which is just a red screen with white writing. Doesn't really explain anything. It just sort of just appears. It's like, wow, that's the end. But yeah, I give it a thumbs up. What about you, Josh?
Bizarrely enough, I actually would recommend it on the premise that you will never see a giant monster movie like it. And if I could have any film remade,
be this,
which wasn't King Kong versus Godzilla, changed so that Godzilla wins rather than King Kong, it would be this one, so that we could have a new Thunder of Gigantic Serpent.
Maybe we should make it.
Maybe we should.
But yeah, so yeah, both...
And we'd call it Mosley.
But yeah, both of us agree you should check it out. But yeah...
Yeah, let's see if you can find it. Track it down online somewhere.
But
yeah, it's a big place.
But we'll probably do another sort of follow-up review of this at a later date. But yeah, thanks.